Hey everyone, it's Maggie and I'm back for another WandaVision breakdown. If you missed my first video, then make sure you check it out. I'll leave a link below. I will be referring to some theories we made in that video, so don't forget to check that out. If you're new to my channel, which you probably are since I'm new to my channel, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button. That would really make my day. I also have already posted more of a plot breakdown over on my blog at maydaymaggie.com if you want to check that out. So let's jump in. Starting off, I think the obvious changes are that we are in full color, which is where the title of the episode comes in. With the first episode being set in the early 60s and then the second set in the late 60s, we now find ourselves in the 70s, pulling from TV influences like The Brady Bunch and Three's Company and The Partridge Family. The lengths the show has really gone to capture these time periods is amazing, and I'm here for it. Some of the first things we notice are more of these hexagons in the opening. This has been a theme in both episode 1 and 2 in the beginning and end of each episode. Now we can count at least 20 in the opening alone, between just framing the characters, the gazebo. Later in the episode we have the soccer ball and Geraldine's earrings. Just a lot of hexagons throughout, mostly in the opening, but throughout the whole episode. I have seen so many theories about these hexagons, and I cannot decide which theory I actually like or believe. This could be a reference to the 6 Infinity Stones, the shape of the Mind Stone in Vision's forehead, a hive theme with the beekeeper, Wanda's hex magic, or the 666 from the devil himself, Mephisto. There was even a new theory I read the other day where it could be AIM from Iron Man 3 cropping in. They kind of have the hexagon bee thing. I'll keep an open mind and continue to look for these 6-sided polygons because honestly, I feel like they have a meaning, but I just don't think that we know what it is yet. There are a few other things I want to point out from the opening as well. Wanda is yet again reading from Glamorous magazine like her and Agnes did in episode 1. This time the cover looks very similar to the outfit that Wanda wears in the comics and may inspire her outfit later in the series. There was also the Oz, the Great and Powerful reference behind Vision in the opening, with tons of parallels between the movie, which was just released in 2013. For starters, the movie was directed by Sam Raimi, who will also be directing Doctor Strange: Madness in the Multiverse, which Wanda will also be a main character in. In the plot of Oz the Great and Powerful, we have 3 witches. Remember, there ended up being 2 bad witches, the Wicked Witch of the West and the Wicked Witch of the East. The Wicked Witch of the East is who Dorothy dropped a house on at the beginning of Wizard of Oz. This leaves me wondering if there may be another witch in this equation, because I honestly feel like Wanda is going to be the Wicked Witch of the West, while Agnes is obviously the other bad witch. In Wizard of Oz, we had Glinda, the Good Witch, who may help Wanda by having her confront the idea if she's going to be a good witch or a bad witch. I think that this could actually end up being Doctor Strange himself, because we all know that he's going to get involved and he would be a good witch. We also see some of the visual effects from Wizard of Oz with the stork later on. The pacing for this episode moves rather quickly compared to the last, with Wanda's whole pregnancy spanning only a few hours. At the beginning of the episode, she is seen by Dr. Stan Nilsson, who guesses at this point she's about 4 months along, but it's only been about 12 hours in their time. And Vision is totally mystified by this, but Wanda is so in the moment with the joy that she doesn't seem to mind that this is abnormal. They both, however, agree to keep things secret because they do recognize that it's unusual. In the conversation with the doctor, he gives a guide for us to know kind of how far along Wanda is at any given time. A pear at 4 months, a papaya at 5, a grapefruit at 6, and a pineapple at 7. We see the papaya when Vision comes back in from talking with the doctor, the grapefruit in the nursery, and then the pineapple in the kitchen when she starts to feel the Braxton Hicks contractions. This could also be the pineapple that Agnes dropped by during the dinner party in episode 1, almost like she knew this was coming or something. The doctor also tells Vision outside that he and his wife are planning a trip to Bermuda, which is an interesting destination considering 6 triangles make a hexagon. But seriously, this is an obvious reference to the Bermuda Triangle, which is clouded in conspiracy after several boats and planes have gone missing in and around the triangle. One of the popular theories is that this is an opening to another dimension or reality, just like everyone in Westview is finding themselves in right now. It is also a connection with the Cabinet of Mysteries and these old illusionist Harry Keller paintings. They were commissioned by Keller himself to promote his show around the turn of the century. I mentioned these in my last video. He had the Cabinet of Mysteries. He also had the Dreamland painting, which I thought was a reference to Westview as a whole. And I don't know if there's a coincidence or maybe I'm onto something, but there's also another painting from that series called The Devil's Triangle. And you can see it here. He's reading a book like we see Vision doing a lot this episode. And Devil's Triangle is a nickname for the Bermuda Triangle. Over with Herb, we have a glitch with him a moment later, but I'm actually going to talk about that at the end. After the papaya scene, we are in the new nursery with Wanda using her powers to prep everything. The paint is a brand named Simser after the storyboard artist Jerry Simser, who has worked on several Marvel projects, including this one. I like the touch of rainbow. Everywhere I see a rainbow in the MCU, I instantly think Infinity Stones, although I'm sure it's just drawing from like the 70s inspiration of the episode. Also in the scene, we see Wanda bring to life the butterflies from the mobile, just showing us that yes, she can bring things to life, and we will see that again in a bit with Historic. And these are god-level powers that she is unlocking, making her really one of, if not the most powerful character we currently have in the MCU. Definitely, I would say that she's more powerful than Captain Marvel, who also got her powers from the Infinity Stone, the Space Stone specifically, but I think maybe they're going to say that it unlocked Wanda's X gene, so the combination of the Infinity Stone and the X gene has made her like ridiculously powerful. I mean, she's no more powerful than she is in the comics, but I think that's a good way to kind of separate her powers from Captain Marvel, who, I mean, she's very powerful too, but I don't know if she can bring things to life like these reality bending powers. Anyway, they do discuss their idea for names, with Wanda leaning toward Tommy, an all-American name, while Vision is leaning towards Billy after William Shakespeare. He does go on to recite Shakespeare's 7 Ages of Men, which talks about everyone is an actor and we are all just playing our parts, exactly what is happening in the plot of this show with the neighbors. Billy and Tommy are the name of Wanda and Vision's twins in the comics, so it looks like that we will be adding Young Avengers, Wiccan, and Speed to the MCU for sure. In the scene with the pineapple, Wanda starts to experience Braxton Hicks contractions, like I mentioned. These contractions lead to things like the sink overflowing and the electric being knocked out in the entire town. This moment here was hilarious, but also draws from the comic book cover of Vision and Scarlet Witch issue 1. I love this scene with Phil and Dottie where she was asking him if the earrings made her look fat, and luckily he didn't have to answer. The only thing I spotted from this scene that could be a clue is that with the newspaper folded, the word hydrant looks like Hydra. The next scene for me was one of the bigger ones of the episode because Vision is really beginning to question things happening around them, like these glitches we have been seeing. He brings up Herb outside and then Mr. Hart from episode 1. Wanda is visibly upset that Vision is bringing this up, and in a moment we have this rough cut edge editing of the scene, essentially a 70s style rewind. We then see the scene replay, but this time Vision talks about being in uncharted waters here, and that's an understatement. Just like the last 2 episodes, we have a commercial, and this one is a 70s style commercial with a mother, the same commercial woman from the other 2. Here she is struggling with her children, they're making messes and everything's chaotic, but then she's whisked away, creating her own escape and unlocking her own goddess within. We see that it's Hydra soap and the logo is the background. Surprisingly, we have already seen Hydra mind altering soap before over on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I still think that this was mostly just an off the hand joke and that Marvel people are continuing it, but there are some parallels between the Tahiti magical place that Coulson experienced and what Wanda is experiencing here in Westview. Maybe these waters have been charted before. Wanda then goes into actual labor with this fun moment of Vision experiencing panic, and then the water comes pouring through the ceiling, mimicking her own water breaking. Wanda takes care of this with her magic, and then Vision heads off to find the doctor before he heads out on vacation. While alone, Wanda hears a noise coming from the nursery, which is the stork I mentioned, but Wanda becomes distracted by the doorbell. Wanda attempts to hide her pregnancy from Geraldine with a coat that magically changes with each contraction. This is just a fun poke at the way that TV shows sometimes hide pregnancies. For a while, it works with Geraldine distracted looking for a bucket and then telling the story about her promotion. Geraldine's story about the temp job is pretty funny. I think that the little marshmallow men is a reference to her actual job with S.W.O.R.D. and possibly the ship Peak we saw Fury on in the post-credit of Spider-Man Far From Home. Anyway, while she's telling the story, Wanda is attempting to redirect her attention from the stork that is going after the fish on her pants. Things are going well-ish until Geraldine heads into what used to be Wanda and Vision's extra room, which is now a full-blown nursery. The stork on the wall is like totally pulling a Drax, while Wanda reveals to Geraldine that she's not only super pregnant, but in labor. Geraldine helps Wanda through her delivery. She does notice that things are basically coming apart here. She even says, "I may be late to the party, but I'm sure there's an explanation for this." This goes hand in hand with what Agnes and Herb mentioned later about Geraldine being new to town. She knows for sure that this is not reality. She is a S.W.O.R.D. agent, and she is trying to figure out how this is happening. Like, how are they in this TV show? And then how is Wanda magically pregnant? But she's going along with it even though she knows that it is all very wrong. For a moment, Wanda doubts if she can do this, but then she delivers a sweet little baby boy. Of course, like the 70s TV, he comes out all clean and swaddled. Vision is late and misses the arrival, but drops in a few moments later with the doc. Vision was very open about using his powers with the doctor. He used speed powers to get him here. Geraldine takes the doc aside to allow for Vision and Wanda to have some privacy with their new little one. Vision shows his real face for this introduction to their son, Tommy. This is a super sweet moment, followed by Wanda again having another contraction. I love that they were both like having that panic scream, and he's like, "What is going on?" You know, then they deliver the other baby, Billy. And I think we can say officially that these are the first two mutants of the MCU. Vision then walks the doctor out yet again and wishes him luck with his trip. This time though, the doctor makes it clear that there isn't any escaping this town, which kind of circles back to Herb earlier cutting through the wall. I think that the people of Westview are becoming more and more aware that they are trapped here. Maybe it's a conscious thing, or maybe it's just something inside of them that feels wrong, and it's like telling them that they need to be getting the hell out of here. Agnes, of course, is always someone we watch for Easter eggs and clues. I think she is outside their home because of Wanda's pregnancy. Like I mentioned with the pineapple, I think she knows what's coming. Notice the flowers in her basket. They match the colors of the nursery. More triangles on the skirt. It's the devil. Seriously though, it does remind me of the quilting pattern called Devil's Puzzle. Her brooch we saw in the last 2 episodes is still there. There is a design on it, but I just can't make it out. They haven't had a good, clear picture of it yet. But it is similar to what she wears in the comic books. She again mentions Ralph, her husband, and his preference for the darkness. Her and Herb are whispering, and it seems that Agnes was attempting to get information from Herb about Geraldine, which they confirmed to Vision. Agnes raises Vision's suspicions about her with their claim that she is new to town with no friends or family and no home, although she came here for the sole purpose of getting a bucket for her roof. This is Agnes's attempt to remove Geraldine from the situation so she herself can get closer, or to keep Wanda in this, because she knows that Geraldine's an outsider trying to pull Wanda out of this vision. Then Herb kind of gets stuck in this moment where he is trying to explain that Geraldine is here because, well, he just can't spit that out. What he is trying to say is they are all trapped here, and Agnes steps in to say, "Stop it," much like Miss Hart did during the dinner party. Agnes's parting words with a wink are, "I better go because the macrame just doesn't hitch itself." In macrame, one of the most popular knots is the devil's eye. So there's a lot of little devil clues. The devil's in the details. I definitely think that she's serving Mephisto. Agnes definitely has an interest in keeping this facade in the town because I think that they're trying to drain Wanda of her chaos magic, just like in the comics. Wanda wants to stay here because she has Vision and her babies, so this is her reality, and she doesn't want to leave. Inside, Geraldine and Wanda are admiring the babies when Wanda mentions that she herself is a twin as well, even calling him by his name. I love that her accent slips back into Sokovian when she says Pietro. She then sings a Sokovian lullaby. These seem to not only pull Wanda but Geraldine out of this TV show reality and into the real one, because Geraldine then brings up that he was killed by Ultron. Wanda instantly is suspicious because how does she even know about that? This scene gets super intense for Geraldine trying to either play it off, or she doesn't even remember like why she said it. Like, how the hell does she know about her brother? Then Wanda spots the sword necklace. She must recognize this logo from both the helicopter and then the beekeeper suit and see it as like an enemy symbol. A moment later, Vision comes back in looking for Geraldine, but Geraldine is gone, and Wanda has like a super serial killer vibe with that smile happening. Of course, she didn't actually kill Geraldine, she just ejected her from the bubble, as we see in the last scene. Some clues to take from this are definitely that Westview is a real town, also that she's wearing the same outfit, which gives us the idea that things that happen in this TV show reality are becoming reality. And that's all I have for you guys in this video. I hope you enjoyed all these little tidbits of possible information. If you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you can see all my videos. You can also sign up for my emails over on my website at maydaymaggie.com. I send out 2 weekly emails, one on Saturday, which is a link to everything I posted in the previous week, and then another one on Sunday for what's the schedule for what's coming up the next week. That's subject to move around a little, but the amount of things I'll be posting stay the same. I also have a podcast, and you can find me on Apple Podcast or Spotify. Just search Mayday Maggie, and I'll put the links below. So thank you for watching.